Now, I could change my sweatshirt so that I'm not wearing the same one in these videos, but I'm not! Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and today I'm talking about Will Trent, the TV show that has been adapted from the Will Trent series by Karen Slaughter. I don't know why I was about to say Kevin. It's Karen Slaughter. Okay, so Will Trent, I have been reading this series. I'm not finished with it. I don't know if she's going to continue to write in it, but she has recently published a book in this series. But if you don't know, Karen Slaughter is a crime fiction writer, mainly thrillers, and she has some standalone books you've probably heard of, Pretty Girls, was it The Good Daughters? But she also has series. So she has one that's called Grant County, and I think there's 5 books, and then they like some of the characters overlap, and then the other series is Will Trent. So I've read all of Grant County, loved it, heartbroken at the end, but then I started reading Will Trent and love the Will Trent series. I love Will Trent specifically and some other people that pop up in this story. I don't want to, well, Sarah. Anyway, so love both series, and right now I feel like it wasn't that long ago that I saw that Will Trent was being made into a TV show, and then it was already out. So I guess maybe I got the news late, but it was on ABC or Hulu. I watched it on Hulu, and the first season is finished. There's 13 episodes, and so I just want to talk about my feelings on the show, some things I've seen online, like other people's feelings, and in that I will be talking about the comparisons or how I feel about it as an adaptation. So, starting out, the big difference you can see if you've read the books is obviously Will Trent is not a tall white dude. I don't care about race. I was like, wow, he's pretty short, but whatever. Physical appearance be damned. The show is a lot more diverse than the books. Everyone in the books, minus a person here and there, is white. And in the show, there's a lot of color. Will is Hispanic, his partner is black, the chief of police is black, just lots of shades in there, and I appreciate that. I love to see it. Now, of course, there's a lot of people on the internet who are like, oh, Will's not white, I can't watch this. It's like, okay girl, bye, whatever. I don't care what ethnicity Will is or even his height in the show. I cannot take the accent. Oh my God. So the series, a lot of her books, and so Grant County was outside. It was in Georgia, but not in Atlanta. Will Trent is in Atlanta. So they're in Atlanta. ATL. And I don't even know what you call his accent. It's just bad. And it changes. It's never the same, or it's never consistent throughout the episode. And it's just a horrible accent. And I know people from Georgia and Atlanta, I don't know, they don't sound like that. It's terrible. Like, after the first episode, I was like, am I gonna continue this? I did watch all 13 episodes, but I hate his accent so much, so bad. Another thing, so like I said, Faith, who is his partner, is a black woman instead of a white woman, which I love. She's gorgeous. I don't always love her outfit choices, and I know when I was reading some people's reviews, they were like, this is in Atlanta. Why are they always wearing like 3-piece suits and sweaters and sweater vests? Which I don't get either, because it's not that cold there for that long. And I don't know. It didn't look like winter that they were filming, so an interesting point. Anyway, but my main thing in the character, like them getting these people to play these book characters, is that accent. Another thing that bothers me is I don't feel like the show was written close enough to the books, I guess. Like, I don't think Karen Slaughter's a writer on here. No, this says, well, it says Liz Heldon, developed for TV or written by, and then it just says Karen Slaughter based on the book. So I don't think, no, it doesn't have her as like actual writer for the episodes. This just it feels very inspired by Will Trent and not a TV adaptation, if that makes sense, because I've been reading these over years, so my mind isn't crystal clear on everything that happened. And so some of these events I do recognize from the books because each book is following like a new criminal case. But of course, in a procedural, you have all of the people involved, their interpersonal relationships, their, you know, marriages or partnerships, all of that stuff. And so the whole premise, Will Trent grew up in foster care with this woman named Angie, who they have a really codependent, toxic relationship because they grew up in foster care together. He is dyslexic, but he's really smart, has his master's degree, and now he's a detective. Yes, a detective. And even the dynamic between him and Angie is different in the show, which is one thing I will say I would like, because in the books, it pisses me off so bad how she treats him, because again, they have this really nasty codependent relationship, but she manipulates, she takes advantage of him a lot because he's just so sweet. And it's less of that in the show, still a little bit, but less of that in the show, and I appreciate it because, God, Faith, or is her name Faith? No, her name is Angie. She pisses me off in the books. I also like the actress, Erica Christensen. So that is different. Also, his dynamic with the police chief, they are like at each other's necks all the time. Just very like, I wouldn't even say at each other's necks. She's just always bitching at Will and he's just like taking it. And she's a lot nicer in the show, which again, I don't mind as much because sometimes I'll be like, Amanda, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face because you're so mean to Will, but different in the show. But I feel like the personality, how they wrote Will in the show, is not the Will Trent that was in the books. And that has nothing to do with race, ethnicity, height. It's the personality, because Will is, like, he's physically, he can be intimidating because he's very tall, he's in shape, but he's very quiet. He's not always sure of himself, because of his dyslexia and the way he grew up. I just feel like in the show he's a lot more cocky, like very confident. And sometimes Will is confident because like he's like, I know my job and know what I'm doing. He's really good at like seeing things in the scene, and they kind of do that in the show. But the way the actor is portraying Will in the show, he's like so cocky. Some of the things, I'm like, Will would never say that, or he would never speak back to that person like that. And I don't like that. The show is not terrible if I look at it as inspired by Will Trent. But if I'm looking for one of my favorite crime fiction, mystery thriller, whatever you want to call it, series turned into a TV show, I do not enjoy it because just so much is different. And although on screen I appreciate the changes in the animosity levels between like Will and Angie and Will and Amanda, his boss, I don't know if that will translate down the line into like the correct story path. But again, I don't think they're trying to stick super close to the books. I hope some of this is making sense. If you've read the books and then if you've watched the show, I feel like you would understand what I'm saying. But again, some of the events I remember from the books, like the different murders and mysteries and things they're trying to solve, I remember that. And some of the interpersonal things are still the same, but just some core things. It really bothers me that Will is not like Will in the books. Also, his dog that he ends up with, I forgot her name, but she's like a star in the show, and I don't know. She's cute, but it's a lot. It's a lot with the daggone dog, and I love dogs, but I'm just saying for this story, I'm like, okay, we get it. He's got a cute little chihuahua. Cause like she's on the poster of the show, and whatever. So I said there was crossover from the Grant County series to the Will Trent series, and one of those people is Sarah. Is her name Sarah Linton? And she's a doctor, and she is pretty important in the Will Trent books once she enters that. And I don't know how, it's going to be interesting to see, because it is, I think they have the green light for season 2. It'll be interesting to see if and when they bring her in. I'm curious, I'm worried about how that's gonna go because of certain things that the show has either not done or did differently. I don't know. I don't even know if they're bringing in Sarah, which would be really upsetting because, again, a very pivotal character in this series. And there is someone else who pops up in the Will Trent series, and I wonder if they're gonna bring them, even though I want them to bring that person in. Ugh. But overall, if you want a new procedural, then give it a try. It definitely is more, obviously, diverse, and it's just paying attention to a lot more nuances than other ones. Like there's a non-binary character who uses they them pronouns, so of course you know that pissed people off, like, oh, they're making it so woke. Go choke on a dick. If you can get past his accent, you may enjoy it. It definitely feels overall way more lighthearted than the books, because if you've read any Karen Slaughter, you know usually those books are not a jolly good time. There's rarely levity in them. Only I feel like in the series there's more, just because there's more focus on the personal relationship, so you could get some jokes here and there. But really, it's they're pretty grim, you know. Will came from a really troubled background. He's got this toxic relationships that he's in. He just has a lot of trauma. And then the things that he's seeing on the day-to-day basis are really hard. And in the TV show, they've definitely lightened that up with the different people they chose and how they're writing it. And like, it's not bad. It's just not what I wanted coming into an adaptation of this book series. I know I saw something, I don't know if it was a tweet or just whatever, for an interview that Karen was saying that she loves the show and like approves of all of it. And I'm like, I doubt that you would say you didn't like the show, but whatever. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? I'm not in control. It's not my book, it's not my show, but some of it, ugh. And also, they focus more, because in the books you really don't get POVs with Angie. Like, you see her through Will's POV, but in the show, Angie has a partner, and they switch to them a lot, which, like, I don't like her partner, and we don't need that much Angie, and it takes away from, hello, Will Trent. Obviously, he's still the main character, but when they switch the perspectives to them, I'm like, here we go. I don't know. I'm going to give the second season a try, just because, like I said, I'm curious about who they're going to choose to bring in and like how they're going to continue this story. And if I remember correctly, the season ended on kind of a cliffhanger. Did it? It's just, yeah, it's just not what I envisioned. And that's fine. I think if you go into it with that mindset that this is like inspired by, but this is definitely different tone, different writing, different kind of personalities of the characters than the books, then you can enjoy it. So that's what I have to do for myself. I have to divorce it from my beloved book series and just enjoy it as is. So those were my thoughts. I hope that was somewhat coherent. I tried not to be spoilery, but let me know if you've read the Grant County or Will Trent, and then if you've watched the show. And then if you've watched the show but you haven't read them, also let me know. And let me know your thoughts. Tell me all the things. But yeah, I don't know. I'm convinced that I would be a great person to work on a show or movie that was being adapted from a book. And of course, that's just me feeling myself, but also I just think I'm correct. So, but they didn't ask my opinion, so whatever. But it's gotten a decent reception on IMDb. It has 7.7, which is pretty good. I think I would more in like the 6.5 range, but okay. Okay, whatever. Okay, thank you for watching. And again, let me know your thoughts down below. I'll give this a like. If you want to stick around, subscribe. But stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreen. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.